Welcome to the Blue Room Podcast, an intimate space where we explore ourselves, our lives, and our relationships more deeply through therapeutic conversation. I'm your host, Fantana Shatamsa. I'm so grateful to be on. No, we don't have to edit that out. That's fine. I'm just really happy that my best friend's here. Shataya Stevenson. We were just having like a good laugh about this mole on your eye that I was trying to brush away because I thought it was a piece of makeup. Anyway, I'm grateful that you're here.
Oh, I'm grateful I'm awake to be here. Thank you.
Even though we're like 30 minutes late.
That's fine. You know what? I thought you were going to be an hour late, so this is better than an hour. So
I thought you were going to cancel on me this morning.
I was thinking about it.
I was like, I'm just waiting for the cancel text.
I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go outside. And then if I don't come back, I don't come back. But
Did you leave in the middle of it?
No, I didn't leave.
Oh.
No. Because I thought I would have been gone. And I parked where I might get a ticket too. So just know I appreciate being here.
Sacrifices for our friendship.
Yeah.
Okay, so for folks who don't know, this is my bestest and longest friend, Shataya Stevenson. And we've been friends for like 20 years?
Yeah, it would be like 20 years, September, I think. Yeah. Because we met going into junior high, and I think I was 12, turning 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was always the year behind. Well, not really, like 9 months.
Were you? Oh, for your birthday. Yeah. But we were all going to grade 7.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't like you.
I know. This bitch. Tell the story about how we met.
We did, okay. The first time we actually met, it was like the grade 7 orientation at Highland Park. And it was the first time I seen you, and that's when me and Nikita were friends. So I was like, okay, this is the new black girl that's going to be trying to steal my new best friend. So then I just looked at you and I was like, I can't stand her. I don't
mean
like her.
Girl,
rude, yeah.
So
and then
pissy.
I know. And I hated you for absolutely no reason. And and then there was something we were doing. We went somewheres. I don't know. We were walking somewheres, and you had a bag of chips, and I'll never forget. It was Doritos. I can't remember what flavor, but you were like, "Do you want some?" And I was like, "Really?" Because I wasn't really used to friends sharing things with me. And I was
you've
like,
been so mean to me that whole time, and I still wanted to share my Doritos with you.
But then I was like, "This is the first person that ever wanted to share something with me." I was like, "Okay, so she's not that bad." So then that's how it happened.
And that's how we were friends.
Yeah,
it was through Nikita. That is so funny.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah,
and I always be sharing food. Do you want some? Do you want some?
No. Stop always trying to feed me.
So 20 years of friendship. Like, it's been crazy. Like, we grew from girls to women together. And like,
sort of.
What do you mean, sort of?
We might be there. I don't know.
We're not, yeah, we're like, I mean, we're not fully done growing, but 20 years under our belts.
I know. Like, how many, like 4 babies?
I have the majority of them.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot of kids.
Well, I remember like Lonnie and Mari, like, because we both had them around the same time. So like, we would always be doing stuff with the two of them.
I know. Yeah. Because it was only like 11 months difference between them? Yeah. So when they were babies, it was easier to force them to be friends.
I know.
Now that they're older, it's like they do their own things. It's like, whatever.
It's true.
It's true. Anyways.
Yeah. We did like lake days, we did birthday parties, we did all that stuff together.
Yeah. They were so stressful, though.
About being a young mom?
No, just being a mom to a young kid who screams all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I think your parties were probably the only ones that I would take him to after a while. Because it's just so much work. All he wants to do is yell and hit people. It's better now.
I love him for it. I love him for it.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. It was fun, though.
Well, before we get like too far deep into it, I always ask guests to pull a card. And then we answer the question that's on the card. So since you're a guest today,
okay,
you can pull a card.
Which one is
anyone?
Am I gonna get like the death card or something like that? Is that
It's
a
not
thing?
like tarot or energy
Okay.
or anything. It's just a general.
Do I get to read it?
Yeah, it's for you.
What concerns you most about your future?
Ooh.
What concerns me? Not reaching my goals, honestly. That would have to be it. I'm so worried about like not finishing my social work degree, but it's the one thing in the world that I want to finish, so I think that's my biggest concern.
Where like are you with that? We like haven't talked in like a minute.
I know. Well, I have a year and a half left, but I don't have any funding for it. And I thought this year or like this summer I'd be able to like just work and like gain money for it, but other expenses came up, so I just kind of have to put on the back burner for like a year or so until I get money for it. But
that's fine though.
It is, but that's what I want to do. So I get like things just keep getting pushed back further and further, and I'm like, am I gonna die before any of this happens? Like
that's
seriously,
not gonna happen. You are so persistent. Like you are so freaking persistent. You're gonna get it done. It doesn't matter if it's taken 10 years.
Better not take 10 years.
Well, how many years are we at?
Oh my gosh, I've been in university for 10 years, yeah. But not for the social work degree.
Right.
That's just everything. So I've been there for a while. But I'm also really happy to take this year off and take a break because I am just tired. So I'm happy about that.
I don't know how you juggled all those.
Stupidest thing I've ever done.
What's
Honestly,
that?
Stupidest thing I've ever done.
Like,
I would never recommend anyone to do that. Work, go to school, and take care of a child full time. Don't do it. It's dumb. Like it's no.
Yeah. That I've looked at you like in amazement. Like you weren't really. Like you didn't really have like any support really.
Yeah,
like
I
mean, your mom's always there like to help on the weekends and stuff, but like Monday to Friday, like the school drop offs,
And that was before I was driving too. Like taking him out to Spryfield or like that was like a half a day thing just to take him out just so I could have a night to myself or work or whatever. Mm-hmm. Without my license, I don't know how I did it. Then I got my license and I just got fat and started doing everything. So it's fine.
And finally, after like, I feel like I got my license at like 16.
You did. You had a very
I was so young.
Yeah.
You got yours this year.
At 30. Not this year.
Oh. Like last 2 years.
April was 2 years that I was driving.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a big accomplishment because you've really been so scared of being behind a wheel.
I know.
And driving.
And now I can't be behind a wheel if somebody else is driving. Like, even if I get a home, like a cab home or something, or like even Uber, I'm like, I cannot sit in the back seat. Like, this is not for me anymore.
Wow.
Hate driving, though. Can't stand it, but would rather drive.
I remember taking you for your like practice and driving in my car, or was it your car? You know, you already had a car.
It was my car,
and I'd be your driver teacher.
You stressed me out.
You stressed me out. That was like the worst. Like between you and my nephew, like I don't think I could ever teach somebody how to drive. Like, because if someone is scared behind the wheel, you should already be scared.
Yeah, fair. Honestly, there was a couple of things that I've done that I'm like, wow.
That's crazy. But we were in like that like crazy ass car accident.
Which is why it took me so long to get my license, because of that car accident. Because I just was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. And then COVID happened, and then I was like, there's no way I'm being stuck at home, like giving my license. So
we need to get.
Yeah.
How old were you when the car accident happened? Like 16? 17?
I think 17.
It was before I went to Ethiopia? Yeah, before I went to Ethiopia.
Yeah, you probably were sent away because of that car accident.
That and a bunch of other things, dropping out of school and partying from sun up to sundown.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that car accident was crazy. I was actually just looking at pictures of it the other day on my time hop.
It still pops up on Facebook.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, why do I have this? And then I showed it to Jelani, and he's, like, terrified now. I'm like, okay. Just don't drink and drive. Like.
Oh, yeah. So for folks who don't know, we were in, like, a really terrible drunk driving car accident when we were like 15, 16 or 16, 17. No, it was 15, 16, I believe. Out in like Amherst.
Yeah, Amherst.
No. We would just take these stupid ass road trips like for no reason. Like for no reason.
But do you remember that that's when you were working at Subway at the
Yes.
hospital and like you just packed like your car with like a bunch of
subs for the ride?
Yeah, and you just had like a bag of friggin' meatballs.
Oh, was it
and
just
then
meatballs?
It was. And then I remember the police were like looking through your trunk and stuff like that, and they're like, "There's a whole bag of meatballs
Shut up.
back here."
I will never forget the food. And no matter where we're going or what we're doing, you can count on me to bring the food. Like we're not gonna be out there starving with no money. We're gonna have a bag of meatballs.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, our Newfoundland trip, like even on our way back home, we went to Subway then too. I'm like, what's your obsession with Subway?
Still to this day, that's the only thing I let the kids eat. I'm like, we're going out to eat at Subway. But anyway, back to the accident. So we had, I don't even know how many people, like we fit.
There was 6 people in that car.
In the 5-seater. So there was 2, so there was the driver and the front person, and then there was like 4 of us in the back.
Yeah.
So we had 3 of us sitting, 1 person laying across us. Yeah, I remember who was laying across specifically. Like she was laying across us. And then there was no reason for us to be in that car. Like we just did not care.
That was so stupid.
It was really so stupid. And we had all drank, and then the driver was like going really, really fast, and we were like,
no, specifically we were pulled over somewheres, and I remember him turning around looking at me saying, "I'm really loaded," and I was like, that's not good, like we need to hurry up and go home or whatever. And he's like, okay, let's go home. So then we all got in the car, and then we were driving down the street, and he just got really excited and he yelled. And then
he screamed.
Yeah.
Like it was like a holler.
And then put his foot on the
thing.
Yeah.
The gas.
And then we flipped the first time.
We hit black ice first. And then we were all like, actually before the black ice happened, we were all screaming at him to slow down and stop.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like not slowing down. And we hit the black ice. We hit the curb. And then all I remember was like putting my head between my hands, like between my knees, and then I just remember us hitting the curb, and then I blacked out completely.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember, honestly.
I don't even think you blacked out.
I don't remember.
When I opened my eyes, we were upside down. You were already out of the car. All I could see was like a glass window that the girl. Someone was pulling her big body out of that small. It's not even funny, but like it's just not funny because there was like glass around the thing, and she was like a large girl, and they were pulling her through the thing.
I forgot that she was even there.
She was one of those in the back of that. So they were pulling her through the window, and I just remember later thinking like she probably has so many glass wounds in her body. The airbag had deployed. The girl in the front was unresponsive.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I just remember being like there was bodies around, and we were upside down, and I just thought like I have to get the fuck out of here. I heard you outside. It was like your voice all I remember hearing was like your voice outside. So then I don't even know what you were saying. Oh, I remember him being like, don't call my grandmother, don't call anybody.
Oh, like, whatever. I think I do remember him saying that when the ambulance was there. Yeah. Like, don't call anybody. Like, you almost just killed 5 people, and you're like, don't call anybody. It's fine. Like,
no big deal.
Put a Band-Aid on it, call it a day. Like all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I climbed out of that window. I don't even know how. Like, I climbed over the people, and then I just grabbed you. You were the first person I grabbed, and I started running. And you were like, "Where are you running to?" You're like, "We're in Amherst. Like, we have nowhere to go."
Yeah, I think I do remember that. It's like run from the scene of the crime, but it's like we didn't do anything. We were underage drinking, but we didn't do anything. We were just almost killed ourselves. That's all.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
And we did not. I remember that when we did not feel any pain. We went to the hospital, got assessed, gave our statements. The next day...
I'll never forget that pain that I felt that next day. I never felt anything like it. I think your dad had to come pick us up.
Listen, my dad is a great guy, but this was not one of his best moments.
Oh my gosh.
He did not want, first of all, he was mad that we were out of town.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you lied to him. Like, we definitely weren't supposed to be out of
In
town.
Amherst, right? Like, and then he was like, yeah, he came, he picked us. He did not want to pick us up. I feel like my mom made him come and get us, and he was like cussing us out the whole drive back. It was like 2 hours.
I was so grateful that he picked us up, though.
Yeah,
I was like, how are we going to do this?
I think the police already had called them. I would not have called them. We would have took a bus back.
They probably did, because I remember they called my
underage.
mom. Yeah. Like, that's cool. Get a call at 3 a.m. I know your daughter's in a car accident. Like,
In a different town completely.
she's probably supposed to be over in Dartmouth or something like that.
I hope my kids never put me through the stress. Like,
You know what? If they do, honestly, like, it would really, really suck, but we would also kind of deserve it. Because we did so much risky things that, like, I don't know, it's kind of bound to happen. Like, we should have died, like, 9 times, like, in our lives. We really should have died a lot of times.
Them angels, them 2 crows that we keep always seeing.
The 2 crows, not the
one
one,
for sorrow,
but the
2
2.
for joy. Every time we used to walk by crows, you always used to make us kiss at the crows. Remember that?
Yes, if it's 1 crow.
One
I
for
still
sorrow.
do that.
1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for go, 4. And then the money, you're very superstitious.
Yeah. Is it left hand, money's coming, right hand, money's going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. And the itchy feet.
Yeah.
All the things.
All of them.
Anyway, so I'm gonna pull a card right quick. Let's see what it says. I don't even know the answer to this question. Tell me about your first kiss. What do you remember?
Whose first kiss? My first kiss?
Well, it's asking me, but
Who was your first kiss? I actually don't remember either. You know, I was trying to figure out how many people I slept with the other day. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I know. Not that it's an extreme amount. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, I don't remember. And this is what this reminds me of. Because, like, you remember your first time, but then there's like...
I don't remember my first time.
You don't? Do you remember who it was with?
Because I didn't even really know what sex was. So what I thought was sex, I feel like wasn't really sex.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
It is a lot more traumatizing when you do it for the first couple of times.
Not the body count. I remember like we were like trying to, me, you, and Nikita, remember we were comparing?
We wrote lists.
Not the list. Oh my God.
But I think that was just more of like flings, not body counts. I hope not, because I remember a significant number that day, so I hope. No, there's no way.
It's just flings.
Yeah.
We were very experimental.
And I couldn't even remember half of those people now. Like, it's so crazy. These people just come and go. So many seasonal friends we've had in these past years. So many people that I can't even like remember.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you still talk to Nikita?
Every once in a while I do. Like, I still text her and stuff like that, but yeah, we don't talk as much as I'd like to, but we definitely do still keep in touch. But like somebody like, I still have Robin on Instagram. Like, I miss her too. Like, there's a lot of good memories there.
Yeah, I still talk to Robin from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah. I was driving by the Bedford Highway the other day, and I was like, remember that place you guys used to live there on the Bedford Highway with all those girls?
Yeah.
That was something. That's when I dropped my phone down the toilet. I forgot all about that.
What happened?
I had it in my bra, and then it was so tiny. It was a small flip phone. And then I just turned around to go flush the toilet, and it just fell in my bra. At the same time, I flushed the toilet, and it just went down.
It went all the way down?
Pissed. Yeah. I was like, there it goes in the friggin'...
in the sewers of Halifax.
Yeah. The Bedford friggin'...
Basin.
Yeah.
That place was weird. We had a bidet. Like, none of us even knew what a bidet was. Like, just to literally wash your butthole. Like, it was a toilet next to the toilet.
No, that's crazy, because I would love to have something like that
now as an adult.
Yeah,
like,
before we didn't even know what we were doing.
No, I sat on it one time, and I was like, this feels really weird. Like, it just feels, it's like a spray. Like, it sprays your whole perineal area.
Okay.
It's like rich people stuff. Like it's probably what they have back in
Pretty
the
much.
royal days.
Yeah.
No, it's good you still talk to Nikita. Like the three of us are like three peas in a pod.
I know. We were everything. We did everything together. The good, the bad, the ugly.
You could not have one without the three. Like we came as a package.
Literally.
It's
And
so
everybody
crazy.
knew.
It's so wild.
It was fun though.
What's like one of the like best memories that you have with us?
Like all three of us?
Yeah. Or even the two of us.
I don't know. Well, I really enjoyed that trip to PEI that we took. That was probably my favorite.
We're not allowed to take road trips together anymore.
Ever. Even with my license, I don't even trust it because how every single time does it turn into a disaster? Every single time.
PEI was just a mess. Like, what is even in PEI besides the red Santa potatoes? Like, what else are we doing down there?
What happened to your car is what I like.
I
just
don't
stopped.
remember.
I remember we were eating Chinese and then we went out and it was just like, no, you're done.
All right, my road trips with us is just a mess. Like, a car never worked for no reason. Had to pay whatever hundreds of dollars to like get it fixed like on the way back because we were stuck in PEI.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was a mess. And then the drive to St. John's, or no, not St. John's, to Newfoundland.
To Sydney.
To Sydney?
Well, first, day one, we drove into the snowstorm going to Sydney.
And you were pregnant.
I was pregnant.
I had to drive you there.
Yeah, and then remember we stopped at that garage
because we had no heat in the car with you pregnant.
Oh my gosh, yeah! And you had to go buy like coolant or something like that.
I had to go put in the coolant. Yeah. We had to, every couple of bits, like we had to like keep driving and pouring coolant in the car.
But do you remember the man?
Yeah.
At the
garage, because I don't even know why we stopped.
Almost killed us.
Like I think we stopped there just to get more coolant, or we went. Yeah. There was like a light or something that came on the car. We were like, I don't know if we're gonna like make it. And then what did he say?
You guys can spend the night.
Right.
I was like, this is the beginning of a horror movie. And then you're like, no, we can go. We made it though. We made it. We made it to the ferry on time. We got the cabin for free, so we actually had a good sleep. And then the next day,
let us sleep in the cabin for free,
which was awesome.
That
was like the only awesome part of that trip, because the next day when we woke up, there was another snowstorm, so that we had to drive from the snowstorm from the ferry to Nikita's house. Like, yeah, this is cool.
And then we were stranded on the island because the ferry wasn't leaving.
Yeah.
Like a couple of, like we had to have our trip postponed.
Oh, yeah. And she didn't have any heat at her house. And her cats were eating her pizza. Like, it was just a disaster all around, the whole thing. And that was the second trip. Well, third trip if you include the car accident. So, yeah.
No more trips.
And you know what's crazy? I was like, it'd be so cool if we actually went and did like a plane ride. And I'm like, I'm not fucking getting on a plane ride with you. Like, no. Terrifying.
I don't think we're meant to travel together.
No.
That's so crazy. I was going to say, like, we both grew up in the park. Like, three of us grew up in the park, but you and I both grew up in the park. And, like, my parents were, like, immigrants. Your parents are however many generation African Nova Scotian. Mm-hmm. And like we both, sorry, I'm easily distracted. All good. Like we both lived like the same kind of life, like upbringing, like not having, many resources, like not having, we had support, but not like financial support or like access, like.
Yeah. Well, like, how much support did we really have, though? Like, I feel like it was there, but it wasn't really there. Like, the option was there, but, like, people could have pushed hard. We figured it out, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But we did figure it out, which is honestly a blessing, because easy to get lost in that. Like, we were not doing the greatest for, like, the longest time.
The longest.
Like, I remember for a minute, like, I was just in a really nasty stage, and I was just, like, F friends and this and that, and I'm like, no, this isn't life. This is not life.
Yeah.
But so it was.
We both did. Like we were both we were both partying all the time. We both ended up pregnant really early. We both We were both on assistance for so long, and just like really trying to like work our way up and out of the system, like as Black women. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we stayed so close, was just because like all the friends that fell off, like we all kind of like had different journeys, and like, you know, not everyone I think had the same maybe goals or like drive and ambition or whatever, because it's like it's really not easy to come out of the neighborhoods and like the upbringings that we had.
Not at all. It's not set up for you to either, which is unfortunate.
I still want to go back on assistance to this day.
There's so many times that I'm like, my life would be so much easier if but at the same time, it really wouldn't. Like, I keep thinking about it, I'm like, it was easier to be, like, it's easier for me to work my ass off than it was to just sit around all day and do nothing. Like, just...
I don't know about that.
No, that crab in a buckets thing. Because then you're like, it's generational. I'm like, do you want your kids, like, for their 19th birthday to be like, let's go up to the welfare office and get you on welfare, and now you can have an income coming in? Like, that's when, to me, I was like, no. Like, bless my mom's heart. She had however many kids, 6 kids, and she did it, and she didn't work, but I'm like, that's not what I loved that, seeing her do that, because it made me realize that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I knew I couldn't live life like that. So it's like once a month,
it motivated you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was that, and like, of course, like the whole thing with Donald too. Like, that was really the life-changing experience for me. That's when whatever party phase or whatever I had happening was just like clicked off, and I was like, okay, this is back to reality. Like, now it's time to really do things. And that's what happened. Like once do you want
to talk about it? And can you tell the story, or no?
I can tell some of the story.
Okay.
So, like 2010. Yeah, 2010. I was out. It was actually the day after my 20th birthday. I was out with my mom. Went home. My older brother was there. We heard a knock at the door. Went to go look at the window. Nobody was there. About 5 minutes later, somebody came up the house and just shot and killed my brother right in front of me. So that was obviously like really fucked up and really traumatizing. So that's pretty much what led me to where I am today. Like, that's when reality really did kick back in. I was like, okay, I'm not in this party stage or high stage. Like, I need to get back to life, and I need to realize that if this is my second opportunity, because like that person
was so close to you,
they seen me first before they seen him. Like, I could have gone, it could have been me and my mom and my brother, but it was just my brother. So I'm like, okay, this is a sign. So I was like, this is when I'm going to start getting life together. And then that's when life started fucking me over at the same time.
That's what I fucking mean. That's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could be on assistance, like doing nothing, and then also like my parents worked so freaking hard. Like, they worked every day, and they still
struggle the exact same.
They struggle. It's like so. I don't know if it's like, I mean, a lot of it is racial, a lot of it is like societal. It's like they just could not, like, they just,
because it's not set up. That's what I mean. Like, it's not like, it's really like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Like, that's what it is.
It's tough.
So like, after that whole situation, like 2 weeks after we buried him, I was like going back to school, and then the Lord was like, you're fucking pregnant. So then I dealt with that for a year, and then I was like, okay, I'm going back to school after that. After that, I probably went to school for like a year. It was fine. Then Jelani was going to junior high. Oh my gosh. Going to daycare, and that's when we found out that he possibly was on the autism spectrum. So then I was dealing with that going into my first year of university.
Right.
And that's when I was like, okay, I kind of want to give up.
Yeah.
But then I like took that year off, but I was like, no, this isn't right. So I just kept going. But the more I kept going, the more like hurdles I had to go through.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't with something to do with my school, and had something to do with his schooling, or something to do with his disability, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. And then that's what made me realize that there really are no supports in this city for like anything, especially if you are a minority. Like, there's nothing. That's what was really my drive. Like, I need to go into social work because this is ridiculous, and there needs to be some type of representation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember so many phone conversations when the daycare first told you, like when the daycare first told you that he could be on the spectrum, and then watching you deal with Jelani, like not deal with Jelani, but deal with the school system with Jelani in the school system.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this cannot be fucking it. Like they just
And it
be
is.
calling you from work, calling you from
Doesn't
school,
matter
like
where you
come
are.
pick your kid up. I'm like, you guys don't know how to deal with children who
Nope.
have special needs. Like you'd really have no idea how to like cope or handle this, which is like so unfair. Like it's so, if you deviate any farther away from like the norm, then there's no supports. I remember them even calling me about Murray and being like, oh, he might have ADHD.
I was gonna say, yeah, black child, ADHD,
hyperactive. I'm like, listen, the school system, you guys are not set up to handle a black child. Like my child is free to explore, free to ask questions, free to be, express his physicality. Like as long as he's not hurting anybody, like he cannot sit down all day every day and read a book.
Like who do you think he like?
No, and he's
kid.
and he's also brilliant. He can read circles around any adult, and same with Lonnie with numbers. Like your child is brilliant, like with math and numbers and all these things, and they just want to focus so much on
the social or just the norm, whatever that is supposed to be, like trying to make you like uniform with life, but it's like, no, we march to the beat of our own drums. So why are you trying to turn me into something that I'm not?
Yeah.
So
I was very, very disappointed watching you guys deal with that school system. And also even like going back to the Donald situation, like it was so crazy that like I didn't even know what happened. But like,
you were driving down. You and your sister.
Like you didn't call me, you didn't text me. The night before, was I out with you? Like I don't even remember like what happened on your birthday.
Yeah, because the night before was when I moved into that place in Fairview. No, Fairview.
Oh,
me and Kenneth. Yeah, because we partied that night.
Yeah, we were all there.
Yeah, and then I went out with my mom the next night, and I was supposed to go home. I was going home to go get my stuff, to go get my bed and things. That's what it was. I wanted to go get my bed.
Yeah.
And then that's why I was home, and then that's when everything happened. But yeah, you guys were.
I didn't even hear from you. I didn't know nothing. I was like to my sister, like we were like me, my mom, my sister were all home. And I was like, Liz, like, do you want to go grab like pizza or go for a drive or something? So me and her went for a drive. Someone just said, just drive by the park. Like we were.
That's crazy.
Someone just said to drive by the park, and I drove by, see all the cop cars, see all the things going on, and of course you're nosy. It's the park. We all do the same thing. So I'm like trying to get as close as I can to see like what's going on. And then I see that it's your guys' house that all the things happen on, and then I see you come outside with like blood all over your hands.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
Like I remember it like it was yesterday, blood all over your hands, and then I jumped out of my moving car. Like I didn't even park the car. I'm not even joking. I jumped out of that fucking car and I just ran down the stairs. The police are like, no, you can't go there. Like it's a crime scene. It's this. And then like your neighbor is
I'm so glad you didn't get arrested.
That'd be the first time. And then your neighbor is like Limpy and all them. They were like, no, let her through. Like that's her best friend. Like whatever. Like let her through. So like I get to like the bottom of the stairs. The police are like, you can't come up here. It's like a crime scene. And I was like, Shataya, what's going on? Like you're crying. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
They're like, they shot Donald. Like they shot him. And I was like, oh my God. Like what the fuck? Like the police are like, you can't like be here. So like I wait around the corner. I'm like with like your neighbors. Like we're all trying to piece together what happened. I'm like, I'm not leaving this spot until like I talk to you. And then eventually like you came around and you told me like what happened. I was like, what you were like, I remember you were in shock. Like you were like glazed, you were shaking, you were like covered in like blood.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even think I actually cried until I got back to my house. And then I looked and then I seen all the blood on me. Because when I called 911, they were like, telling me to hold on to his chest and stuff like that. So I was like sitting there trying to hold on to it to stop the bleeding and things.
My God.
So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, it's going to happen. It's going to like, things will be okay. But like while I was watching him, like I could actually see the life like going from his eyes. And I was like, this is the most fucked up thing that I think I've ever figured, like ever worried about. And then I was so, oh my gosh, for like 2 or 3 years after that, I was so anxious. Like even till this day, like if somebody comes and knocks at my door and I don't know, like it freaks me the hell out. Like it does. But for the longest time, like any movement scared the crap out of me. It was like so crazy. I was like, I can't believe like this is what people are dealing with. And that was like the third murder that happened in the park. That's like
That summer, right?
yeah,
Yeah. It was
because
a really terrible summer.
it was, and then just like getting closer and closer to home, and then suddenly it just got like it literally got
Hit home.
yeah. So I was like, that was pretty mess. But that was definitely the turning point in my life. That's
Yeah.
when I was like, it's too short. I don't want to, I don't want to risk anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like for like one of the reasons why I probably believe that we stayed friends for so long was like knowing kind of all the stuff that you went through and knowing the stuff that like we went through, like the stuff that we did by choice and the stuff that was like not by choice that we really had to like deal with. Like just still watching you like push through. Like I don't care how many years it takes you to finish your social work degree. Like you're still going for it, and you know you have Lonnie, like this beautiful child, and you're fighting the school system, and you're fighting with jobs, and you're fighting with the school, and trying to get funded and do all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
you are a hustler.
Try.
You're definitely a hustler.
You got the nerve to talk though. Like every 2 seconds, you have something new happening. Like podcasts.
We on a podcast.
Yeah, like you got all the things happening. So I like it. And like you said earlier too, it's like this is why I think we did continue to stay friends for so long, because not like we don't have the same like the same goals, but we have goals, and it's the fact that we're not still stuck in the same spot, or like we can be motivational enough to each other that it's like I don't feel like I'm stuck if I'm hanging with you, or I don't go to you if I feel like I want to give up or something like that, because that's not, it doesn't work that way.
It's true.
So it's perfect.
It's true. And like, and still watching you like go for it and go for it and go for it. And like, I know we don't talk every single day. Like I probably talk to you the least out of like all my friends.
Honestly.
I literally talk to you the least.
But we'll just send like each other random things.
Like memes on Instagram.
Yeah.
We make plans, we cancel last minute. Like, but the one thing we are consistent with is the birthdays. Like I'll always be there for your birthday, and you'll always be there for mine. Doesn't matter if nobody else shows up.
Well, that's all we need, honestly. That's it. Like if that's all, like it does kind of suck though, because like I wish I could be there more than what I actually am. But hard. I do feel like I have like a lot, because like just even with the babies too, I'm like, oh, you guys are growing up. Like I want you to know who I am.
Oh man.
But it's so hard to not be able to be as like close as like, not as close, but well, gosh, we live. Oh my gosh, I drove out to Bedford. No, I drove out to Bedford on Saturday.
I'm in the village.
An hour to get there because I didn't know where I. No, there was not even any traffic. It was a disaster. I was going to buy shoes for Jelani, and it was actually ridiculous. And I only knew that we were in Bedford because I was by that dollar store that you were telling me about with the whole Mari situation.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way I knew. And then I was like, okay, great. That means there's that stupid little roundabout, so I got to go through that. Then I'm going to get lost and not be able to get... Oh, yeah. I was so stuck. I was actually so stuck. But
we're both, like, in this, like, phase, like, where it's, like, we're still kind of... Like, there's just so much going on. Like, I wouldn't... We're still so close. Like, you know, like, even if we, like, link up, even when we text, like, if you have time to, you know, go for a drink or whatever, like, I'm always down. We try to get our schedules to align. Like, we're so close. I wish that we had more time, I think, to spend with each other, too. But...
Middle-aged life, though. Like, as long as we know that we're still there, I think that, like, we know that we can pick the phone up at the end of the day and call each other.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation is. So, like, that's it. Like, if I ever see you call, I'm always going to pick that phone call up.
You literally
just like you will. So, like, this is
true.
You know, it's those.
Yeah. You're the constant in my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the change and all the crazy.
Yeah. I love you for that.
I love you.
Now we got to work on getting me a man's and work on getting you into your wedding.
I was gonna say, don't say a man. Like, no.
That's our next task, and you know, planning your wedding, your elopement.
Yes, elopement.
I still have the bridesmaids gifts that you sent me. I'm moving. Do you know that I'm moving?
No.
I'm moving the end of this month. Yeah.
Where?
I don't know yet.
Oh my
So that's another reason why you can't come visit and spend time with the baby, because we don't really have a space right now.
Okay, here we go with the hotel living again.
Another
Can
3
you
months.
Move closer to the city? That'd be so cool.
Girl,
please don't move further away. I know, that's true.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying. But anyways, this is real friendship. 20 years. Grew from hate to love.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no hate. I was just being a hater. Stop.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Follow us on the Blue Room podcast, and we will see you guys again soon.